welcome everyone to week 10 of the NFL. It's the November 8th edition of Father, Son, Holy Sport NFL show. I'm G-Man. That there is G-Money.
What's going on, G-Man? Exciting.
Hey.
My Bengals are on a roll. I couldn't be higher right now. I'm feeling good. I'm feeling good right now.
Woo! Yeah, they are. You're looking good there. Hey, week 10 kicks off Thursday night with the NFC lightweight battle of the world, Panthers and Bears on Thursday night. Oh, my God. Both teams are last in their division. Both have 7 losses. I'd say they're in the hunt for the number 1 pick, team money, but remember, the Bears have an advantage here. If they beat Carolina and knock Carolina down, they have Carolina's pick next year.
Exactly. It'll be interesting.
Great.
It'll be interesting.
Yeah. So, man, this is going to be – I like the Bears on the money line just for that reason. Bears need to win this. They're favored by 3.5. I think, hey, bet them on the money line. They're going to get this.
Yeah, maybe, man. Maybe. It'll be an interesting game.
Hey, let's go over to the AFC. Let's talk about the Bills. They're now in 3rd place. In the AFC East, team money, is the time to panic on Buffalo.
100%. 100% it's time to panic on these guys. All right. They're 5-4, and this team is supposed to be a Super Bowl contender. And I know the defense has injuries. Everyone's defense has injuries. But their offense is what's not clicking. Josh Allen's a roller coaster. You never know what you're going to get. And the biggest thing is, I believe in the past 6 games they've played, they've had 10 or less points midway through the 4th quarter of every game but one, and that was versus Tampa Bay. So I don't know what's going on with their offense that doesn't click until it's time to, they're almost on their deathbed. And, you come into Cincy and you lose a game like that where the Bengals just look like they're in a different class. Even I know the score looks closer to 24-18, but it didn't look like they were in the same class. This offense is just average, and you can't win a Super Bowl with an average offense. And their defense has lost a lot of key starters and their linebacker and defensive back core. And Josh Allen likes to throw picks to the other team too often. And so I can't trust this team come late. And they're clearly no longer in that class of the AFC. They're not in the same class as, Kansas City, the Ravens, and the Bengals, even Jacksonville, who beat them. So, you're in the class of the Miamis. Right now, they're fighting for a playoff spot with the freaking Steelers. That's who you're fighting with right now. So it is time to panic for these guys. Luckily, they played Denver and the Jets. But then after that, it gets interesting. Philadelphia, Kansas City, Dallas, the frisky Chargers, New England, who beat them, then Miami, who beat them, or they beat. Yeah. So it's going to get interesting at the end of the year here. They better win these next 2 because it's going to be close for them to even make the playoffs.
Well, they're on the outside looking in terms of the playoff race, 8th right now, but there's 4 teams that have 4 losses that they're fighting with. The Houston Texans have 4 losses. The Los Angeles Chargers have 4 losses, and the Jets in their division have 4 losses. They're in a battle. Those 4 teams are out right now. They all have 4 losses.
It's crazy. They might miss the playoffs, and that is a detriment to a team that thinks they're Super Bowl contenders.
And they might miss the playoffs, but they are 4-1 at home, team money, and Josh Allen plays well at home. They're back home. They're favored by 7.5 against Denver. It's actually Sunday night, the Sunday night game against Denver at home. I think they get this one done, man. They get it back on track here on Sunday night and settle down all the Bills Mafia fans. Let's go over to talk about the Cowboys. They lost to Philly, team money. Big game, great game. And they played tough, and the Cowboys could have won, and maybe should have won. But they lose to Philly. Philly, again, gets it done. How do you feel about the Cowboys right now?
So this is an interesting one for me because if I'm a Cowboys fan, I'm like, man, we're so close there. I look like we outplayed them. Dak clearly outplayed Jalen Hurts, who looks hurt. If they get Dak with his foot out of bounds, gets that 2-point conversion, and they had a touchdown that was at the goal line. It just they mixed so many little things that looked like they had control of this thing. I mean, Dak threw for 375 and 3 touchdowns. He had one of his best games ever.
Yep.
But if you're going to play that well and you can't beat an Eagles team that seemingly tried to give it to you, Jalen Hurts threw for 200 yards. Like, do you expect them to play that bad? You know what I mean? So it's a catch-22 here, where at the end of the game, again, Mike McCarthy and Dak Prescott's clock management was absolutely horrible. They had a false start, or a delay of game, at the end of the game to push them back. Dak takes a sack, which you cannot do. It's just they did have a chance to win this game. So I can't say that they had so many miscues and little things here and there. You could have gone and won this game. And what do the Eagles do? They button up and they win the damn thing. And the Cowboys make the errors that we're worried about in the clutch moments. And that's the problem here. Yes, the Cowboys played great. And everyone wants to talk about, oh, Dak outplayed Hurts and all these things. That's fine. But at the end of the day, Mike McCarthy's clock management and Dak Prescott making bad decisions in the red zone is what's going to cost this team, because it's what's cost this team the entire year and in years past. So the Cowboys looked great. I'm happy for them. But when the Eagles play as badly as they did, and you play as well as you did, and you still make those mistakes down the stretch, look, I think the Eagles look like they're in a different class than the Cowboys, even though the score says it's closer.
Dallas stepped it up. They've been stepping it up lately. Overall, over the last 6 games, they're 3-3. But they have stepped it up the last couple games. They're starting to play better. And I think they're going to roll on the Giants. They're favored by 16.
Oh, yeah.
This line started out at 13 with the Cowboys. Now it's up to 16. It just keeps going higher. And, they beat these teams like this. They're going to beat the Giants. But when they get into these big games, man, they have a tough time.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing for me is, look, this really is about the 1 seed. And that's where I think the Cowboys are in trouble, right? The 1 seed is what the Cowboys need. They're not the team to go on the road at San Francisco and win a game.
Did I say that at the beginning of the season?
And
I told you, man.
That's where this hurts them most. The Eagles are 8-1, and good for them for being 8-1 after playing so poorly in so many games. But the Cowboys are 5-3. They're digging themselves out of a hole now. And so even if they catch up on a couple games, I don't know if they have a chance to get the 1 seed. And so that's where this game hurts them most, is they need home field advantage, because they're not the team to go on the road in the playoffs.
Yeah, and they're now ranked 6th in the NFC, and Seattle has the edge over them in the tiebreak. Best win percentage in conference games. Exactly. Seattle's ahead of them. Exactly. Oh, my gosh. You're right. They have dug a hole. Let's go back over to the AFC. Bengals get a big win Sunday night. Are they a true contender in your eyes now, T-Money? You with that team right outside your window?
There's never a doubt here. I don't know what don't listen to any of the earlier podcasts. There was never a doubt, okay? Never a damn doubt here on this side. I'm doing a podcast staring at Joe Burrow's home stadium right now.
Yeah, yes, you are.
It is, it's thrilling to see these guys rip off 4 in a row, 5 of their last 6. And it's exciting, man, to take down Seattle, San Francisco, and Buffalo in 3 straight games. Has anyone had that impressive of a streak this season? That's awesome. Joe Burrow clearly is a top 2 quarterback in this league. Don't tell me anyone other than Patrick Mahomes is better than this guy. And
thank you.
And their defense is looking great too. To hold Seattle, San Francisco, and Buffalo all below 18 points is incredible. I'm really excited. These guys are clearly true contenders. There's clearly a class of the Ravens, the Chiefs, and the Bengals in the AFC. Jags aren't even on this level, man. They're looking great. I'm excited as hell. The Bengals are clicking on all cylinders right after they come out of the bye. And they got a tough schedule still. Look, they got to play a lot of AFC North teams. They still play Jacksonville. They still play Kansas City. This is going to be tough. I'm not saying we got this easy and we dug ourselves a hole behind the Ravens just to win the division and get a home playoff game. But Are these guys contenders? Hell yeah. They've proven they can go on the road and get to a Super Bowl. And so, hell yeah, these guys are contenders. It's an awesome time to be in Cincinnati.
T-Money fired up. Hey, and
Fired
T-Money was out in San Francisco, lived out there for a while with his beautiful fiance bride to be, Justine. Justine fell in love with Jimmy G out there. T-Money said, I'm getting out of this city. I'm going to a city where I can watch a team win the Super Bowl.
Damn right.
And T-Money says, we're going to Cincinnati. And he goes back to Cincinnati, and all of a sudden, they're on the move. The Bengals are on the move. I agree, man. Hey, looking great. We got Houston coming up for Cincinnati. They're favored by 7 at home. T-Money, you going to be out there tailgating this weekend?
Oh, yeah.
1 o'clock.
I will be watching the game Sunday. It's going to be fun, man. I'll be out there tailgating, but these Bengals looking like true contenders. It's exciting.
Hey, thanks to our show sponsor, Blue Tees Golf. Go to blueteesgolf.com. Find affordable, high-quality golf products so you can help pick up your game this coming spring. Enter coupon code FSHS. Get a 10% discount on your full order. And you'll also find a referral link in our bio. Hey, T-Money, let's go on to a couple more questions here and see what you're thinking. How about Atlanta? Big high hopes this year. It's not working out so far for Atlanta. What do you think, T-Money? Time to fire Arthur Smith? Would they actually do that?
Look, I don't know what Arthur Smith is doing. He is running Jonnu Smith plays in the 1 yard line back to back, then handing the ball off to Tyler Algier. I don't know if he remembers he has Bijan Robinson. Does he know that he has maybe the best back in the NFL? Does he remember the fact that they took him with the top 10 pick in the NFL? This guy was ripping off insane games to start the year. And now he's got a combined 25 touches in the last 3 games. All right. I don't know if Arthur Smith all of a sudden is trying to prove that he's a better coach than his GM thinks he is and doesn't need the draft picks. I don't know what he's trying to do, but this guy, I think, has got to go. All right. They've lost so many games with mistake plays. This team is not going anywhere. It doesn't look creative. It looks like it's regressing. You lose to Josh Dobbs after he comes in and has 2 days in the building and no practice snaps with the team. I mean, it's bad. And now they've lost 3 out of their last 4 with the 1 win they had over Tampa Bay where they scored 16 points. This team is in shambles. It's time for him to go.
I love your spirit, man. You were fired up today. Hey, isn't he the son of a billionaire? This guy's got connections, doesn't he?
Yeah. He is he's a son of a billionaire, and he needs some help here. Look, this is one of those guys where it looks like he's just, the guy to bring stability to an organization, but he's not the guy to take you to the next level. And this team is actually pretty decent in a lot of spots outside of quarterback, obviously, but they get a QB in there. I don't know if Arthur Smith's the guy to take you to the next level. He's done a decent job getting these guys back on track. They're 4-5, and in the NFC, that's not bad, but he's got to go. This just doesn't look right. He seems to call out anyone that calls him out when he does something wrong, like a little spoiled child that he is. And so, yeah, I think it's time to fire Arthur Smith.
Hey, we got Atlanta and Atlanta going to Arizona, and like you said, Atlanta is still in the hunt in that NFC South.
Yeah.
And I think the Saints could lose. That Atlanta could be in first place on Monday morning. It would be crazy. But they play at Arizona. Arizona getting back. As far as we heard, Kyler Murray is back. Did you get any word on that? That's the latest news.
Supposedly he's going to play this week, but he's not fully committed to that yet.
It's almost a pick-em game. Atlanta's slightly favored in Arizona, but if Kyler's back, that's going to be a close game. For Atlanta starting Tyler Heineke at quarterback for the first time this season. Drake London's out injured. So they're going through some bumps here with their whole team, and they got to figure out how to get this done and beat Arizona. Come on now. Hey, let's go to the AFC South, where the Jags are in first, T-Money, as we thought they might be. They've had an easy schedule this year, plus they're playing well. But right behind them is Houston now. Jacksonville 6-2, Houston 4-4. And it's CJ Stroud now, T-Money, a top 10 NFL quarterback.
Yeah. Yeah, he
Wow.
is. CJ Stroud
Okay.
is a top 10 quarterback in this league. He's
Okay.
fourth in passer rating. He's seventh in yards. He's third in yards per throw. He is playing great. And last week, versus just tearing teams to shreds. This guy played incredible last week. The last game he played versus Tampa Bay, 475 or 70 yards and 5 touchdowns. This guy was electric. He is such a beautiful thrower of the ball. He can layer it in there behind the linebacker and before the defensive back. This guy is the real deal. I'm sure Carolina's regretting taking Bryce Young over this guy. And yeah, it's impressive what CJ's doing. I mean, he's looking like a top 5 quarterback in the league, how he's playing. He's clearly not prone to throw interceptions. He's thrown 1 on the entire season. And so I'm very impressed with this guy and his composure. The Houston Texans got to be thrilled with getting a guy that plays this well, this fast. They got a good one down there, and I'm excited to see where this guy goes in the future. CJ Stroud, definitely looking like a top 10 QB already, no doubt.
I agree, and I love his leadership, his faith. The guy just is leading that team. He's so humble, and he's great. Not only is he setting rookie records, he's starting to set NFL records. He's the 6th player ever in the NFL to throw for 450 passing yards and 5 touchdown passes with no interceptions in a game. That's pretty amazing.
Crazy.
6th player in all of the NFL ever.
Yep.
So just amazing. Houston is the dog, though, going into your site there, T-Money. You're getting 7 points at the Bengals. And what I think is going to be a high-scoring game, man. I think it's going to be a shootout.
Yeah.
I don't think Burrow can take his foot off the gas and run the clock out with Mixon. I think he's going to have to keep throwing in this game because you saw what CJ can do when he gets behind. He can come back.
Exactly.
Hey, let's move on. Speaking of what's going to happen and the bets and all of that, let's go to big bets. Hey, do us a favor, everybody. Press that like and subscribe. We appreciate your support here at Father Son Sports. Going on to big bets, T-Money. And we're going to give our lock pick of the week, our dog lock pick, and some player props for everybody. Father Son Sports, man, doing it this year, 64% against the spread. G-Man is 74% against the spread, including player props, man. Hey, let's go to our lock pick of the week, T-Money. Who do you got for your lock pick of the week?
All right, my lock pick of the week is the game we were just talking about, Texans +7 versus the Bengals. Look, I think the Bengals get away with this win, but like we just mentioned, CJ Stroud's playing so well. I know the Bengals defense has been keeping people low scoring, but they're going to stay in this game. The Texans are, playing well right now, and I think they're going to be right in the mix here. This is a little bit of a trap game, it feels like, for the Bengals here. After getting a few big wins, you think the Texans are going to come in and be an easy win. No, these guys are playing great. All right. They're 4-4 right now with a chance to make the playoffs. So watch out for the Texans. +7 seems like too much to me in a team that just put up 39 points. So I'm going to say Texans +7, but the Bengals still get the win here.
7 points is a lot of points in the NFL.
Yeah.
So, that does seem like it's high. Hey, let me go over my lock pick of the week. I'm going to Frankfurt Stadium in Frankfurt, Germany, early Sunday morning. T-Money's going to be up eating his cereal, his chocolate, Count Chocula cereal. And at that time, it's going to be the Colts and the Patriots in Frankfurt playing. And it's pretty much a pick 'em game. The Colts are favored by 1. That is moving up to 1.5, 2, I think, by game time. But I like the pick here for the favorites, for the Colts. Patriots have only scored, T-Money, 135 points this season. 9 games, 135 points, 14.8 points per game. That's 31st in the NFL. Its defense, on the other hand, T-Money, is 26th in the NFL. They give up 26 points a game. I know we think of them as this vaunted unit, but not this year. And they do not play well as an underdog. They're 1-9 against the spread. The Colts coming off the 27-13 win against the Panthers. JT has a big day. Give me Indy -1 for my lock pick of the week.
All right, G-Man, I like it. J.C. Jackson, Patriots cornerback, already sitting out this game. So nice pick there. My dog lock of the week here is Raiders plus 2.5 versus the Jets.
You like Coach Pierce. You're a Coach Pierce
like
fan.
Coach Pierce. They just went in and destroyed the Giants. They're probably staying in New York for the week. Yeah, give me the Raiders here again to take down New York's other team. The Jets can't score points at all. I know their defense is legit, but I like the Raiders here to sneak a win out, maybe get on a roll with their new coach.
All right. I like that, Team Money. I like that. You're moving it. You're shaking. Hey, let me go for my dog pick of the week. I'm going over to Minnesota Stadium where the Saints come into town, and Minnesota's there, and they are getting points. And man, that just seems like kind of questionable to me, especially when you look at New Orleans' previous 10 games as a favorite, 1-8-1 against the spread. And if they, after following a win, the 19 times that they've followed a win, they've been 5-13 and 1 against the spread. Minnesota, on the other end, previous 10 games, 6-3-1 against the spread. When they're home underdog, 13-7. And so last week, Minnesota beats the Falcons with Josh Dobbs being the hero. Can he keep it going? The fans are excited over there. Give me the Vikings. Buy it up to +3. I see it's a 2.5. Buy it up to +3. They're at home. Dog luck pick of the week.
All right. Like it, G-Man. Let's go to everyone's favorite betting section now, and that's G-Man's player prop of the week. He's hot. He knows what's going on. G-Man, what you got for us?
Hey, I'm trying. I got some good targets here. I'm going to try to narrow it down to the 3 that I like. And all the player props are not out. We record on Wednesday, so you guys look them up, and I will too at game time. But here's the ones that I like. JT, Jonathan Taylor, in that England game. I like his rushing attempts. I think they're going to feed him the ball. If it's over 16, I think he's going to be over 16. So anything that's 16 or under, go over that. I like his rushing yards over 55 yards. I think it'll be in that range, the target. Let's see where that rushing yards target comes out. I think he's going to get 65, 75 yards. Maybe he pops one and gets a lot more. But I think the prop will be set around 55, 60. And I like it over that number. Hey, let's look at a second choice. Joe Burrow, the one that T-Money mentioned in that stadium right behind him. I think his prop will be 276 passing yards. He's beat that 3 of the last 4 games. I also like his rushing attempts. If he gets a rushing attempt of 3, I think he's going to be over that. He's been running the ball more. If the rushing attempts are set at 3, he's been over 3 several games in a row. And the last one I'll give you is Jared Goff. Jared Goff on the passing yards. They're playing the Chargers. This is a 48.5 over-under. Chargers and Lions throwing it back and forth. It's basically a pick 'em game. Detroit slightly favored. But I think Goff beats this 263 number. He's beat it 3 games in a row, and this is going to be a lot of points.
All right. I like it, G.
What do you think? Which one you like the best out of those?
I like the JT over rushing yards. That's what I like.
Okay, good. There you go, everybody. Tip from T-Money on top. That's the icing on the cake. Hey, let's go on to Fantasy T-Money. All you fantasy managers, how you doing? You're past the midway point, man. You better make your move. Trade deadline's coming up in all the fantasy leagues. So you're going to have to make some trades unless you got keepers in a league like ours, where you got keepers, a little bit different rules. Hey, don't forget, all you guys, and I know you haven't forgot, all you fantasy managers, week 10 buys. There's 4 teams on a buy, and there's some good players on buys. So people are scrambling today to get their waiver wire picks. AFC, we've got Miami and Kansas City on buys. And the NFC, we got Philly and the Rams on buys. Okay, so there you go. We got 3 games for you. Starting off with hot and cold, T-Money. We'll give you the start and sits and the player tips, man. I'm going to start off with the hot picks. At quarterback, I'm going to the guy we talked about. Hey, nothing about being consistent here. I'm going Joe Burrow at home against the Texans on Sunday afternoon. And will T-Money, the real question is, will T-Money be cited at the tailgate? And I'd say that's a yes. I'm betting on the odds on that. T-Money at the tailgate, at the banks, throwing it down. But I like Burrow's here in this game. Burrow in this game. He threw for 348 last game, 2 touchdowns. He looks like he's over that calf injury. He's running the ball. I think he's great value on DraftKings, only $6,800 for some of the more expensive quarterbacks. I like this buy for your DFS team, Joe Burrow, upside quarterback, hot pick of the week.
All right. All right. My cold QB of the week is going to be Josh Dobbs. He's projected 15.2 versus New Orleans. They're ninth versus QBs right now, and they've allowed someone over 15.8 only one time in their last 5 games, and that was an 18-point showing. So I think they're going to be tight. I think he's going to be right around his projection. If you can look for other guys with higher upside, I'd go with him. He still doesn't have Justin Jefferson. And now people are going to be a little more prepared for him scouting wise. They didn't think he was going to play that last game. So watch for Josh Dobbs. I know he's the hot name right now on the waiver wire, and I think he is a good bye-week QB, but I think he's going to be in trouble versus New Orleans defense.
Hey, nifty move right before the trade deadline to get him, Josh Dobbs. And I like Minnesota with those points at home. They might lose by 1, but I think they might win it with Dobbs. We'll see what happens here, man. Hey, running back this week, I'm going with JT in Germany against the Patriots on Sunday morning when Team Money rolls out of bed. JT had 18 fantasy points last week. 3 more times the touches as Zach Moss. He's returned to the alpha, my friends. He's returned to the alpha. He also got 5 passing targets. I was looking at that prop, and he scored a receiving touchdown. Keep that in mind. And you think New England has a great D? They rank 20th in the NFL against opponents' fantasy running backs. JT's $6,600 on DraftKings, a lot better value than some of the bigger name guys. He's my upside running back hot pick of the week.
All right, JT, your boy. Let's go to my running back here. That's going to be Gus Edwards as my cold running back of the week. 12.2 projection versus Cleveland, who is number 2 versus running backs in fantasy football. He's getting most his points here from touchdowns. He's had 6 touchdowns in the last 3 weeks, which is unheard of. So I just really think he's going to regress to the mean here. He's not going to continuously put up touchdowns. Keaton Mitchell clearly is eating up into his timeshare now and getting a lot of touches, the rookie running back. And there's also Justice Hill. So and Lamar can run it in himself. So this is just a crowded backfield. I think this guy is going to slow down a little bit. Like I said, 6 touchdowns in 3 games. There's going to be a regress to the mean moment here. And I think it's versus tough Cleveland defense.
Okay, good pick, Team Money. I'm just sending a trade request to my friend Team Money for this next guy that I'm picking for wide receiver hot pick of the week, and that's going to be Tank Dell. Tank Dell, my pick of the week in that Cincinnati-Houston battle on Sunday afternoon. He's time for the team lead in targets, 26% target share last week in that win versus the Bucs. He's 4th in open rate, behind only Brandon Ayuk, Keenan Allen, and Garrett Wilson. That's impressive, Team Money, and he's big-time value on DraftKings, only $5,500. Great guy to put in your DFS lineup. My upside wide receiver, hot pick of the week, Tank Dell.
All right, Tank, my boy. I love that I picked him up off the waivers. My cold wide receiver of the week, Amari Cooper versus Baltimore, projected 12.2 points.
Coming off a good game,
but last week he caught a touchdown that ricocheted off another teammate's helmet. So let's not act like he had an incredible game. That one was, I'm going to say it, lucky. So I don't think he gets a touchdown. This Baltimore defense is number 8 versus wide receivers. They might be the best defense overall in the NFL right now. They're allowing the least points per game. So this is going to be a tough matchup. I think it's going to be a slog when the AFC North matchups are. Amari Cooper is my cold wide receiver of the week.
Okay, Team Money. Hey, next game is take or mistake. I pick a player that had a big week, and Team Money tells me whether we should take the bait this week or would that be a mistake. And this is a surprise, Team Money. You've already talked about this guy. I got a feeling what you might say. Let's talk about Josh Dobbs, who appears to have taken over the helmet quarterback for this high-octane offense, Team Money. You know they like to put up the points at the Vikings. Dobbs completed 20 of 30 for 158 and 2 touchdowns, no interceptions. added 66 yards and another touchdown on 7 carries against the Falcons. And he found Brandon Powell for the game-winning touchdowns with 22 seconds left. Finishes the 4th best fantasy quarterback in week 9 with 25 points. Team Money, can fantasy managers trust Josh Dobbs for their fantasy season stretch run? Is he a take, or would that be a mistake?
This is going to be a tough one because I definitely don't think he's going to be a guy you can rely on to make a long playoff push. But he's a great bye week guy. He's a great stash guy if someone gets hurt. But there's a lot of guys. Will Levis, I think, has more upside. Kyler Murray's coming back. Geno Smith, I like, is a little more stability. There's definitely guys that I like more than him. But like I said, he's a great bye week quarterback. He has upside. He's had multiple games in the 20s. I think he's quarterback 10 on the year right now, which is absurd to think. I like him, but I don't love him. I mean, there's definitely a lot of other guys I would probably take as a starting quarterback over him, but he's a great guy if you need something in a pinch.
Hey, all right. Sounds good, Team Money. We are working our way to the finish here of Father Son Sports show here in week 10. I'm going to give you my DFS lineup here, everybody. We've won some tournaments this year, and let's see if we can keep it going. I'm stacking some of these Cincinnati guys. I got Joe Burrow I'm going to put Joe Mixon in at the running back, catching some passes and some runs, maybe scoring. Joe Burrow, Joe Mixon. I've got JT in at the other running back position. And at the wide receiver, got Tank Dell, as I mentioned. The other 2 wide receivers I've got, my most expensive wide receivers is Brendan Ayuk at 7,100. I got Olave in there at $6,400 on DraftKings. These are the DraftKings values. I think Buffalo's going to have a good game, and Kincaid is in at my tight end. He's only $4,300. And T-Money's favorite flex, I'm bringing Jono Smith in as the flex, playing for Atlanta for $3,600.
All right. I like it, G.
Hey, that's it for today's show, Team Money. Thank you to our sponsor, Blue Tees Golf. Go to blueteesgolf.com, everybody. Enter FSHS. And we appreciate your support. Check out our website for merchandise like you see here. Okay. Hey, we hope you had fun and got some tips in NFL Week 10 as it's coming up. We love bringing the energy. On behalf of Team Money, I'm G-Man. See you next week.
All right. Peace.